of frustration.
Silly mistakes again.
Full of despair.
I don't even know if I'll have a club tomorrow.
From years of hurt, disappointment, and relegation.
It could be League 2 next season.
Bolton are down, Norwich are down.
Two British football fans have had enough. Canary bird Elliot Holman and wanderer Henry Hewitt are in search of glory.
Get in!
Pride.
It's been a joy to watch.
Passion.
Nanny!
In search of silverware.
MLS Cup champions, baby!
And they found
ATL.
Orlando!
Major League Soccer.
Yes, it's back, baby, and we are back as well. Welcome to the MLS UK show. My name's Elliot Holman.
And I'm Henry Hewitt.
It's so weird even just seeing you in person. This is so bizarre. We have so much to talk about.
This is the MLS UK show.
The MLS UK show with Lucid FC, a distinctively modern, casual fashion label. Take a look at lucidfc.us or lucidfc.co.uk and see why celebrities love the look. This season's current line is called What's Your Effing Club? Which is your F? Football, fashion, or film? If it's football, you're in the right place. Film, the MLS UK show podcast is now available to watch on YouTube. But fashion, it's always lucidfc.us or lucidfc.co.uk.
Go on, you start.
Hiya, mate.
This is so, I'm so happy. I'm so happy. Not necessarily to see you, yeah, it's all right. But MLS is back.
Genuinely, this is the first time we've seen each other face to face since, March?
Is it I'm sure the last time we did a podcast together in here was the last time I saw you.
Yeah, because I was going on my mate's stag do, and I watched back the last episode in here, which was episode 4 of the season, and it was like, everything was normal. It was weird because I was like, I'm on a stag do this weekend, I'm going to miss, I think it was Inter Miami versus LA Galaxy, and we were just talking about that and doing predictions and stuff, and then it just all shut down.
Yeah, I watched, again, feels weird to say, the last weekend of MLS, we watched together at my house.
Yeah.
We just watched game after game after game, and it was great. And it just feels weird that you like to think that you were in my house. Like, that's not allowed. We've literally not been allowed to see each other at all. It's good to see you, but it's so good to have MLS back.
It is. I mean, we've tried our best, haven't we? We've spoke to the best of MLS, well, in our eyes anyway. And it's just good to be back on a normal episode because we've had quite a few people who have said that we really enjoyed our isolation interviews, but we just
it's not the same. I know it's not the same. We spoke to Patrick Segrist.
Yes.
Lawrence Wyke from Atlanta. You spoke to Chris Cadden.
Yeah, Columbus Crew.
You spoke to commentary royalty.
John Champion, yeah.
John Champion was on the MLS UK show. I got to chat to Chris Mueller.
Yeah.
Get-in moment. Big get-in moment. The only man to score for Orlando so far this season. And finally, we are back and we can just do a regular podcast and mess around and talk about stupid stuff.
Yeah, did you like that? A bit of a birthday present for you, getting you to chat to Chris Mueller.
I don't feel like we'll ever do anything better than that. So I did contemplate just binning the podcast off.
Speaking of which, it was Albert Rusnak's birthday yesterday.
Yeah, happy birthday, Albert Rusnak.
Obviously,
the only person to have a birthday yesterday.
Nope. A few people did tweet us actually.
Yeah.
And said, I think MLS put out a happy birthday, and then people in the comments were like, "Oh, happy birthday, Henry from MLS UK show."
That's how much you've gone on about sharing a birthday with Albert Rusnak.
Happy birthday, Albert Rusnak. Hope it was good.
Did you have a good birthday?
I did, yeah. I was allowed to probably do a lot more than what Albert Rusnak's allowed to do in the Orlando base, but it was turning 30 in lockdown or whatever this period we're in now is. Was an experience, but we've all had experiences. Like last time we spoke, you were about to get married.
Yeah,
never happened.
Remember that? Remember when I was going to get married? We tried our suits on, didn't we?
Yeah.
We bought our suits. Everything was sorted. All the plans were there. So didn't get married. Moved the wedding to September. That's also been cancelled.
Yeah.
It's been great fun.
Yeah, and I mentioned, I think, in the first 2 or 3 episodes that I was going to go to America. Poppy, obviously, you all know who Poppy is. She does the kit reviews. She was doing a makeup of her friend's wedding in America. We can't now go and do that, so I was going to go to Mercedes-Benz Stadium for the first time.
Speaking of Poppy and Mercedes-Benz Stadium, let's just...
It's like Gangster on a budget, isn't it? It's like a wannabe 50 Cent with a crown on, like those chains. Oh, I'm cringing. What a poor guy.
Not a fan of Joseph Martinez.
Come on, he had a bad injury. Lay off him. Remember that? Remember when he had the bad injury?
Yeah, he's going to miss the whole season.
No, he's not.
Guarantee he starts
Yeah.
for Atlanta, like, surprise.
Oh, well, we're back. It's episode 11.
There's only one place to start, and it's the game with the changing name, because some things never change.
Yeah.
So, I've got one for you, and I'm excited about this one because it's quite an old player, born in 1971.
Well, you've had a long time to think about this, so it better be good.
And I still only did it 5 minutes ago. So I will give you the career path of a player who has played in the UK and over in MLS, and you have to work out who it is.
No.
Now, this person has played for Bolton, so you're going to be on this straight away. So keep your thoughts to yourself for now. Okay, so they started their career at Newcastle United, and they played 191 games for Newcastle United between 89 and 2000. So they're ingrained in Toon history.
Okay.
They then moved to Manchester City and played 94 games. And then to Leicester in 2003. Bolton in 2004, only played 3 games for Bolton, then moved to MLS.
Okay. I think I know, but I didn't know this guy played in MLS, but I do think I know off what you'd said his English career path was.
And a lot of people, this is interesting because a lot of people ask me, like I did that radio piece on a national station over here, and people sort of ask you to compare the level of MLS to a level here in the UK. And I always try and big it up a bit, and I'm like, yeah, championship teams would have a struggle against some MLS teams. This particular player left New England Revolution and went to Hartlepool United.
Oh, wow.
Just to give you an idea of where the level was back then.
Either that or he didn't have a great time at New England Revolution.
Yeah. If you think you know who it is, pop a comment in the comments below if you're watching on YouTube, or of course tweet us your answer. We'll know if you're cheating. We'll know if you skip to the end. I'll give you the answer later on.
Yeah, we should say for new listeners and new viewers, hello, by the way. And this is what we do at the start of every episode. We will, Elliot will reveal who it is at the end. And get in touch. Just tweet us or YouTube, comments, and we know if you've cheated, and probably with this one, you possibly have cheated if you're going to get it right, unless you support one of the clubs that Elliot's mentioned. So good luck, and we'll find out at the end.
I'd like in future episodes to bring back our mailbag, where we just go through things people have sent us, or whether it's like emails or packages in the post or whatever. No one's been sending us packages in the post for obvious reasons, and that's totally fine, because there's sort of other stuff going on in the world. But I'm looking forward to the next episode. So if you've got anything that you want to talk about, ask us, send us questions, whatever, you can get in touch at MLS UK Show on Twitter, Instagram. You can find us on Facebook, or just email hello@mls.show.
Right then, so as we move into a new era of MLS, this MLS is Back tournament, I think we should point out that, of course, we are being safe recording this. That's why we've waited so long to do it, because we wanted to make sure it was safe. And it's been hard. We've FaceTimed quite a lot. I at the start had the symptoms. You FaceTimed me, and your first thought, you just went,
oh yeah,
oh my god.
I FaceTimed Henry at the start of lockdown, and you had the symptoms of COVID. I barely recognised you. I can say it now. You look dreadful.
I know, but luckily I'm fine. Of course, it's been a difficult time, hasn't it? It's been a difficult time for all of us here in the UK and in North America as well. And the thing is, we're seeing with this tournament and the many issues that is happening, that it's still something that is. I don't think we're anywhere near completely eradicating it. So, you know what? we've got all the usual features to do coming up. We're going to have a look and see who Inter Miami have been linked with recently. We're going to be doing Henry's Guide to North America. We've got a Crisis Right as well. But first, let's talk about the MLS's back tournament. As we record this episode, it's starting tonight here in the UK.
It's still going ahead. Imagine that.
A 25-team tournament at the moment. Of course, FC Dallas have been told to leave. Where do you stand with this? Like, it's not good, is it?
I did tweet about this, and I was a little bit worried about tweeting it, but it seems that the whole world agreed, which was lucky. But I just think it's really important at this stage, before we get really excited about the tournament and the fact that I'm going to stay up literally all night. Like, because of work now, it's going to be all night that I sit up and watch these games. So excited to have it back, but I wouldn't feel right if I didn't place on record my opinion, and that's that this tournament should never be going ahead. This should not be happening. I want soccer back. I miss soccer. We all do. But America, specifically, because it's being held in Orlando, and Florida, even more specifically, is having a terrible time with COVID, probably worse than most places in the world right now. I feel like we're on a real downward curve here in the UK. Like, it's looking like we're getting towards the end of it, starting to beat it, which is excellent news. It's completely the opposite over in the States, Florida especially, and even the actual area in which, you know, the tournament is taking place is really severely hitting record highs some days. And we've got players contracting it whilst in the bubble. Just no, it should not be going ahead at all. And I'm placing that on record right now. Like, happy to have it back, but it's totally wrong.
I agree with you. I wrote a piece for All Out Football, and I said in there, I feel that MLS are trying to be the first ones back in men's, in a major men's sports within USA. You know, all the eyes will be on MLS, and they are rightly so at the moment, and that's why they've had a lot of grief over certain things. But I feel there's an element of that. And whether they've rushed back looking at the European leagues and seeing that they've started again. But, of course, as we know, European countries are a lot smaller than the States. Of course, here in England, they've restarted, and the furthest game is going to be Brighton v Newcastle, which is probably the equivalent of driving to another state in America. So it's potentially easier to do here, even though it's had its difficulties. I think the whole concept, I can see where they were coming from in principle. Send them all to, one place.
The idea makes sense,
but in practicality, it's not worked. And the fact that one team have been sent home, obviously Nashville have had a load of positive tests as well. The rumours coming out that teams are wanting them to go home as well.
Yeah.
The thing for me with this is that they made a big thing of saying, the points will go to the regular season. How can points now, with one of the team not even there, how can that happen?
And so many teams, if they do play, we don't know. I mean, Orlando play into Miami in the first game. Just because there hasn't been any news on doesn't mean that there isn't players who aren't on the roster because they don't want to be there. I know Robbie Robson from Inter Miami has gone back home. It doesn't seem fair that some teams, as far as I know, Orlando haven't been impacted as yet, but news could come out soon. Maybe you're watching this and it already has. Teams could be severely weakened, and we have no idea about the strength of it. Doesn't seem fair that these points are counting towards the regular season when the league is the one that's putting them in danger, and it's the reason they're getting infected.
I don't know. All I know is that I'm with you. I'm so excited for it to be back, and when I start watching the matches, especially the ones that are kicking off in the morning in the States, and we're getting to watch it in the afternoon, that's great.
Yeah.
But I would sacrifice that for the health of all the players and the staff. I guess we'll see. We could get to the middle of August, it all finish, and we could be like, well, that was good. But even that, this tournament will finish. When are they then going to start the regular season? I don't see how they can do that.
No, exactly. I don't know. I can't see past this tournament at the minute but part of me feels like we won't even get through it. But it's happening so far, and I'm happy to jump. With that said, it's on record now, so I'm happy to get excited for it. I'm sure once it's on, it'll be a lovely distraction from everything that's going on in the world. And the first game, it couldn't be bigger. It's two teams that have never played each other in a brand new derby.
There's a part of me that's like, oh, I wish it was in front of a crowd.
Yeah.
I wish they would have hung on and just like LA versus LA Galaxy is fine. Montreal v Toronto, Colorado v RSL. These other derbies that are being played, I think, okay, well, we've got a history there. And I think it's just part of it. This one, I'm like, I wish it was in front of a crowd.
Yeah. I feel like, obviously, we're yet to see the Miami fans really in action in their home stadium, or what is going to be their temporary stadium. But yeah, I mean, obviously we've seen what the Orlando fans are like in the wall. It would be a totally incredible spectacle, but it's happening, so we're dealing with it and we're excited for it.
If you don't know, MLS is back. Is a tournament that's going to run like a World Cup. It's group stages, then a round of 16, quarterfinals, semi-finals, and final. So Nashville was taken from one conference and put in the other, so they could have 6 teams in one group. So now Dallas have gone, but now Nashville. So one group's got 3 teams and one's got 6.
Yeah.
It's out of all the stuff that MLS have done, and MLS is a unique league. We know this. That's why we love it. This is probably, in my eyes, the most MLS thing
100%.
they have ever done.
100%. I mean, we say it weekly, like, oh, that's so MLS, but I mean, this is just next level, isn't it?
It's just unbelievable, and yeah, there's a lot of things that is wrong with it, and we've discussed that. But just when you look at the setup of it in terms of group stages, and so you're going to have one group of 3, which I presume still 2 teams are going to come out of it. But then you've got one group of 6 where 3 teams are going to come out of it.
And let's face it, if Orlando were in the group of 3, they still wouldn't qualify.
No, they wouldn't. Are you, as an Orlando fan, we'll talk about the teams to watch and other teams as well, but big Orlando fan, this was going to be your year for the 5th year in a row. Is this going to be your tournament? Are you going to finally, for a team that's never made the playoffs, is it going to be you're actually going to get through a group stage and get to a round of 16?
No.
I'm
joking.
So.
Do you know what? It's the sort of thing that we would do really well in, because no one really cares about it. Do you know what I mean? Like, it would be the first thing since, Orlando dominated in USL, and I think people forget that. A lot of the teams that join MLS have done extremely well. Cincinnati done extremely well in MLS. Louisville, teams like that who are just absolutely smashing it. But I feel like since the MLS era began, it's not been great. This would be the sort of thing that we'd do really well in, and everyone would just be like, well, no one really cares. Like, not even every team was in it. It's the sort of thing that would happen. We haven't seen this Orlando team at full strength. That's the only thing that I'll say is, Nani, we watched a couple of games together at the start of the season. Nani hasn't played yet. So we've not been at full strength. So we'll see what happens. But it might really suit them. We don't know. It's so unpredictable, and that's kind of why I'm here for it. I'm like, like Cincinnati could go and win this tournament. I'm being serious.
Yeah.
Like anything could happen, and this is what is so brilliant about it.
Yeah, especially with the likes of obviously Martinez, not fully fit yet. He won't be playing for Atlanta. Carlos Vela not playing for LAFC.
Yeah.
There's loads of instances where teams are actually not at full strength. So Orlando, which is their home tournament, even though it's not at home, but it is just happens to be in the
They
city.
did used to play there though.
Okay, but how many of those players are still there?
Yeah. So yeah, I think we're going to see major rotation from most teams. Even in the Premier League, we're seeing bizarre 11s at the minute because the games are thick and fast. Like, it's one game, couple of days off, another game. So the recovery rates are not great. It's hot over there. It's going to be exhausting for players. I think we're going to see a lot of bizarre 11s. Especially if teams qualify, then they're going to have to presumably save their best players. So it's going to be all over the shop. I mean, if you're placing bets on this, good luck to you.
So we're going to be going through our group stage predictions, not individual matches because we'll be here all day, but who we think is going to go through, and that's if there's any teams left, of course. And we'll do that later on in the episode.
Shall we have a look at who Inter Miami have been linked with.
Elliot Holman, Henry Hewitt, MLS UK show.
So you may remember in the first few episodes of this season, Inter Miami, of course, new side in MLS, have been linked with everyone. I think even me and you were linked at one point.
Yeah, I was going to play right wing.
Yeah, and I was going to play Waterboy. So that's not changed in lockdown. Transfers have still happened, and Inter Miami are still being linked with some of the world's biggest stars and some are not so big. So Elliot, who have Inter Miami been linked with now?
Well, let's spin the wheel. If you're watching on YouTube, you'll be able to see this huge wheel that I've got in front of me. So we're just going to give that a... Oh. Quite a long spin. Okay, well, I'll be honest. It couldn't have been a higher profile player.
Go on.
Lionel Messi.
Oh, he's rumoured to be going from Barcelona, isn't he?
So I feel like this does the rounds every few years, every time Messi's contract is up, but it seems like this could actually be a thing now. I love Barcelona. I'd be heartbroken to see Messi actually leave. He's been there since he was like 15.
Yeah.
So it would be weird to see him play for anyone else. I don't understand how there's enough money in the world to even buy him anyway. But Miami being Miami are linked just because it's David Beckham. David Beckham's got strong ties to Real Madrid. I don't even see how people are making these assumptions. Messi won't go to MLS. I'm sorry, but he won't go to MLS.
I don't know. He could have seen that Twitter account from the MLS COVID Cup.
Yeah,
and seen the ham sandwiches. And
that's true.
So he might really like ham sandwiches and want to come and play in MLS. But I'm with you on this one. I'd be very surprised, especially at this stage of his career. There's rumours as well that he's going to sign for maybe Juventus and play with Ronaldo. So maybe that's a bit more believable than MLS. But I think that he will come over and play at some point. I think he'll do a year in MLS and then go back to, was it Newell's Old Boys or wherever he played in Argentina. So I think we will have him one day, but possibly not at the moment.
I can't wait to see him manage Barca one day. You just know it's going to happen, like, honestly. If you're watching on YouTube, comment down below whether you think that Lionel Messi could genuinely play in MLS for Miami or anybody else. I think, is it Portland Timbers have got his rights?
Yeah, don't teams randomly choose rights of players?
Yeah.
And then so Portland Timbers are the ones that, whichever visionary thought that up at Portland Timbers deserve either a raise or, I don't know, whatever they'd be doing, they still deserve to be in MLS. Inter Miami should have them.
So they don't publish these, but each team has got so many slots of players that they've basically got dibs on. That's the easiest way to describe it. And so if Miami want them, they'll have to pay. If they want Messi, they'll have to pay Portland X amount. I mean, you just hold them ransom, wouldn't you? That's $300 million, please.
We want David Beckham to wear a Portland shirt on an Instagram post.
Yeah. Hashtag spawn. Hashtag ad. I've got a game we can play.
Go on, what is it?
The Jason Christ is right. Henry Hewitt, come on down! Oh yes, it's back. Sorry, apologies. The Jason Christ is right returns. Today's theme is amount of clubs players have played for. So I will give you a player's name, and you'll have to guess whether they've played for more or less clubs than the player before.
Right, okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
The first player is former MLS star in Portland Timbers, Liam Ridgewell.
Oh.
He's played for 9 clubs in his career.
Right, okay.
So, has Carlos Vela played for more or less? Higher or lower? Carlos Vela.
Oh, he played for Arsenal. He played for Sociedad, was it?
Yep.
And now LAFC. So I only know
That's 3.
I don't think then he's played for 6 more, so I'm going to go less.
It is less, but only just. He's played for 8.
Ah, right.
Higher or lower than 8? Albert Rusnak, your mate, your birthday buddy.
He played for City, didn't he? Mm-hmm. RSL. Birmingham, so I only know 3, so again, lower?
It is. He's played for 6. Yes. Now, higher or lower than 6? Josef Martinez.
Oh. I'm going to go lower again.
Your mate. Typical.
I'm going to go lower again.
It is by 1.
5.
He's
Wow.
5. Yeah, 5 teams for Josef.
And let's hope it stays at 5.
Yeah. Dax McCarty, higher or lower than Josef Martinez?
Oh, more.
It is, but again, only just 6. Bradley Wright Phillips, higher or lower than 6?
More. He was on loan at a load of English teams, wasn't
You're going like straight in with these, and you are getting them right, but like again, only by 1.
he? Nice.
BWP, 7 clubs. Fernando Addy,
Journeyman. I'm going to say more.
it is more, 9 clubs for Fernando. And your final one,
Go on.
Chrissy Cadden, MLS UK guest, higher or lower than 9?
I've got this. I did my research on him. I interviewed him. He's played for less.
It's 4. It's a full house.
Yeah!
Full house. The
Wow.
scenes. Good work, mate.
Oh, I don't think I've ever had a full house before. I'll be honest with you. This game, the guessing game, I'm quite good at.
I honestly thought that was quite difficult. Every time you were like, oh yeah, no, it'll be more, and it was, but only by like 1.
Yes.
But okay, well, Henry Hewitt, what's the opposite of come on down? Go on back up! Yay! Big finish. Boom!
Can't believe I got them all right. Brilliant.
Good work.
Right then. One of our mailbags, one of the questions that we did get asked over the lockdown isolation interviews period was, Henry, are you still going to do your guide to North America? Because we left it on a cliffhanger.
Yeah.
We left it at Minnesota. So 4 months in the waiting, I think it's time for Henry's guide to North America.
And has it been worth it?
Let's go to Minnesota.
Known for its country music, of course.
This is what I think US music is, so that's why we've got it. And it was
In
free.
the country.
Hey, Elliot.
Hey, Henry.
Did you know that Minnesota is the 12th largest state in the US and has a population of 5.6 million?
No, Henry, I didn't know that.
The name Minnesota means cloudy water and was first given to the Minnesota River.
Oh, there's a St. Cloud, isn't there?
There is. St. Cloud is the capital of Minnesota and is the home to fictional How I Met Your Mother character
Marshall Erickson.
Marshall Erickson.
Yes! My Minnesota knowledge is on point.
4 months ago, you said, can you try and get Marshall Erickson into it? I've finally done it. Other famous people from Minnesota include Prince, the artist formerly known as Prince, Bob Dylan, Judy Garland, and the guy who plays Stifler as well in American Pie.
Amazing.
Sean William Scott, he's from there. It's nicknamed the Land of 10,000 Lakes, even though it more 11,000 lakes, but let's not be picky.
Yep.
And it has more boats than any other state.
Boats.
It's home to the Mall of America, which is the size of 78 American football fields. And Minnesota inventions include the rollerblades,
Oh,
the pop-up toaster,
stop it.
and Snickers.
The
are from
pop-up toaster is the best invention since sliced bread.
Yeah. And Snickers is from Minnesota as well. Minneapolis is the coldest major city in America.
Wow.
And last but certainly not least, Minnesota is the home of Spam. There is even a Spam museum in Minnesota.
A museum.
Yeah, a museum of Spam, yeah.
Amazing.
Let us know if you've been to the Museum of Spam in Minnesota.
Please send us pictures.
And Minnesota is the first state that I've done on the Henry's Guide to North America. The rest have been cities.
So what's the protocol? Do I get to pick somewhere, or do we get people to request a guide?
I tell you what, you tell me where you want me to go, and if I don't want to go there, I'll put it out to the listeners.
Okay. I have been planning a little trip. I said this before, planning a trip to America. It's kind of been put on hold for obvious reasons, but planning a trip to start in just below Portland,
Right.
and work my way down to LA. So I'll let you choose either Portland or LA.
Oh, let's do Portland.
Yeah?
Yeah, we'll do Portland next time.
Okay.
I need to point out, though, that I think when I did Salt Lake City, Minnesota, and now Portland, it has, you have said, oh, I'm planning a trip to America, and I really want to know what this place is like. So I'm basically your travel agent at the moment.
Yeah, but travel agents, struggling at the minute, so I'm doing you a favour.
That's
getting
good.
you some work.
Would you like to go to the home of Spam?
No.
Okay, well, Minnesota, cross that off the list.
If you know stuff about Portland, because you live there, send us stuff. Send us some interesting facts, and we'll get it on Henry's Guide to America. Do they listen to country music in Portland? Probably not.
No.
MLS UK Show with Elliot Holman and Henry Hewitt.
So MLS is finally back. Let's have a look at the teams to watch. I'm going to put this out there.
I've been dreading this bit.
I've not, because my teams to watch are every team, because I've just been missing MLS that much. Apart from Dallas, you will have to wait to watch them. But more specifically, go on, who are your teams to watch in this tournament?
I mean, we joke, but, so far we've messed around. We've spent half an hour messing around doing random stuff that we've talked about, like found on the internet, stupid guides to places. I've found the history of players on Wikipedia. When it comes to talking about this actual, inside knowledge of soccer, I've got no idea. I've got no idea about this competition. I'm looking at the groups now and I'm like, well, who are the teams to watch? And I'm thinking, well, some of these I haven't even seen them play yet this year.
No.
I'm genuinely gonna watch every single game in this tournament. 100%. I'm gonna watch every game. But it's a completely different format. Normally it's such a factor when you travel away.
Yeah.
Every team's playing away, apart from Orlando, and even they're not playing in their stadium. So really, I've got no idea, and I'm sorry. I hold my hands up.
Yeah, I will say that maybe the teams with the advantages are the teams that are used to playing in empty stadiums. So maybe New England Revolution.
Oof, shade has been thrown.
Chicago Fire, they've not played in their Soldier Field yet, so maybe they're used to it.
That's brutal, that is. In all seriousness, let's pick some teams to go through, who we think is going to go through. I don't want to lie to you and be like, oh yeah, well I think that the way Chicago line up is really going to benefit, because no one's got any idea. If you're watching any broadcasts, Extra Time, for example, if you're watching them and they claim that they know and they've got insider knowledge, they haven't.
No.
No one's got a clue what's going on.
I mean, even Nashville game has been postponed already, so obviously they're going to get a bit more time, as well as Chicago Fire. So maybe that could be beneficial. Time to acclimatise a bit more, because a lot of these teams are literally coming in a few days before.
Yeah.
So I'd tell you what. First team, let's have a look at, and I want to mention these because a feature that we had last year, the MLS UK champions. Are Seattle Sounders, because they won MLS Cup.
Yeah.
So what we do, just like they do in UFC, boxing, wrestling, the champions, if they lose the title belt. Seattle are unbeaten so far this season.
Yeah.
So Seattle are putting the MLS UK Show Championship belt on the line against San Jose Earthquakes on Friday.
Yeah.
Can Seattle Sounders win a double? Can they win this tournament and be the ultimate champions?
I like this. So they're champions for a reason, and they've looked extremely good. We watched a Seattle game together. I couldn't even tell you. Was it Chicago?
Chicago, yeah. They beat.
I don't know where I've plucked that from.
They beat Chicago and then drew against Columbus.
Yeah, I just remember them playing really well.
Yeah.
I know I'm coming across like a real expert of soccer so far, but I watch all these things. Listen to these podcasts, and you watch people doing coverage and stuff. They don't have a clue. They're just talking. They're just pretending. At least I'm being honest with you. We don't know. But Seattle, obviously, they're the ones to watch. For me, they've got quite a weak group there, and obviously FC Dallas are not going through anyway. So they're up against Vancouver and San Jose Earthquakes. I expect Seattle and San Jose to go through there.
So do you think then... I mean, if we look at the 6-team group, for example, I know they're playing the same amount of matches. Okay, less than what Seattle are going to play, because they'll only play 2, but the rest of the groups are playing 3. But in a 6-team group, is there an advantage if you've got less teams in your group, or am I just trying to find something to cling on to make this an intellectual conversation?
I don't think there's any advantage in Group A. Let me know if I'm wrong. But just looking at this from an outsider's point of view, okay, you've got 6 teams, only half are going to go through. But I look at that and I think, well, yes, Chicago strengthened, but are they better than Philly? No. Are they better than Nashville? I'd probably put them at the same level currently. Nashville yet to, they might prove us completely wrong. We don't know. New York, and Inter Miami. Oh, well, New York are better than Orlando. We don't really know about Inter Miami. I think New York and Philly definitely go through, and then it's a battle of Orlando, Inter Miami, Chicago, and Nashville.
Let's talk about Group F for a moment, because I would argue that this is the group with the most big names in it. I would say Group D, where it's Real Salt Lake, Sporting KC, Colorado, Minnesota, potentially the hardest group to call. But whereas Group F, I think it's probably between LAFC, LA Galaxy, and Portland to go through. Who do you? Again, no team has played in 4 months.
No.
They're not playing at home. I tell you what, let me ask you, is Carlos Vela not being there, is that going to hinder LAFC going through? Could we see LAFC having a bit of a nightmare here?
I don't think so. I think if Carlos Vela plays for... I don't want to be harsh. I think if Carlos Vela plays for Houston, I'm just looking at teams in that group.
Yeah.
But if he plays for Houston, even Portland at a stretch, I think it's a massive weakening. Does he weaken the LAFC side by not being there? Yes. But is it significant? No, because look at who they're going to bring in. Remember, they've got BWP. They've got Bradley Wright Phillips, and we've always spoken about the depth that LAFC have got. It's unbelievable that someone like Lee Nguyen can just pop on in the 70th minute. Teams would kill to have him. Teams would kill to have BWP, who didn't even make the squad before. You know, they've just got so much talent that I don't see it as a massive problem for them. I know obviously he's like the best player in the league, but he's a big fish in a very big pond.
I'm going to point this out. Normally, we would edit this out, okay? But I'm going to just point this out, and this just emphasises where we are.
What have I done?
Where we are with our knowledge of MLS, because all of the transfers and everything happened 4 months ago, and these players have only played 2 matches.
Oh, Lee Nguyen's left, hasn't he?
He plays for Inter Miami, who are playing Orlando.
I watched both Miami games so far this season as well.
Well, that, believe it or not, that has actually happened. So I need to say, please bear with us if something like that happens, whether we let slip that a player is gone, but and we're still saying they play for the old team.
The point still stands though. Lee Nguyen wasn't getting minutes and has left. You know, he should be starting for most MLS sides, and he wasn't getting minutes because LAFC is so good. There you go. I've rescued it.
That's true. So Chicharito then, he's starting up front for Man United this weekend.
Yep.
We've not seen the best
And
of...
Schweinsteiger.
Eric Cantona as well is playing for... we've not seen the best of Javier Hernandez at the moment. I asked these questions. We don't have a clue.
He is still at LA Galaxy,
he is
right?
still at LA Galaxy, but do you think the break helping him acclimatise a bit to LA and getting used to his teammates, could that be beneficial? Are we going to see the best of him in this tournament?
I can see this tournament being his. It could very easily be his if he turns up. I feel like it's going to feel like a training match a lot of the time. I know the Premier League games that we've seen, yes, it's quiet, but I think the setting as well, the pitches that these games are being held on, everything lends it to looking more like a training thing. It's going to be a lot less pressure, and I just feel like he'll get into the rhythm, get in a groove, and this tournament could easily be the Hernandez tournament.
Let's do a predictions of groups then.
Okay.
Of who we feel is going to go through. So we start with Group A. This is
Do we have to?
This is where the tournament starts. So this is the 6-team tournament. It's Orlando, Miami, New York City FC, Philadelphia, Chicago, not
Chicharito Fire.
And Nashville. There's 3 teams going through in that, potentially 4 because it's the best team under the line. Best 2 teams under the line go through as well. But if we just look at the top 3, who do you think's going through in that one? Right.
I'm going for New York.
Mm-hmm.
I think New York and Philadelphia are the best 2 teams in there.
New York haven't won yet under the new manager though.
Yeah, but they're a good side. Playing game after game after game, they're gonna be fine. I'm gonna choose Inter Miami as the 3rd team.
Oh yeah.
I'll tell you why.
Go on.
Because as an Orlando fan and a Norwich City fan, who are about to be relegated from the Premier League, I'm so used to being hurt. It's just so fitting that Orlando wouldn't make it. We've suffered with New York being our rivals and them beating us, Atlanta being our rivals and them beating us every time. and now it's just I've read the script. I know the drill. We're rubbish. Miami will probably win the group and win the whole tournament.
Well, I do think Miami. I think Miami weren't too far off in their first 2 games of the season, and that was 4 months ago. They've now had an extra couple of months since they've all been back to get used to each other and figure out more, how they're going to play. So I think Miami do have a very good chance. They have a good chance of going through. I don't think they'll win the tournament, but they got a good chance of going through. However, you know what? I've bought into it. I listened to the Chris Mueller interview that you did, which was episode 10. You can listen to that on your podcast provider, watch it on YouTube as well. And he seemed to be talking the talk. And under Oscar Pereja, or however you pronounce it, we've been told how to pronounce it, haven't we? I think he'll do well for Orlando. So I'm going to put Orlando in 3rd.
Wow.
I'm not going to put you top 2.
Are we witnessing MLS UK show history here?
I always predict Orlando will beat Atlanta just to cover my back, so it's not the completely alien. Orlando in 3rd, and then I'm gonna go with you. I think New York City FC and Philadelphia. I might actually put Philadelphia top.
Yeah,
because,
me too.
I think they had a great season last season. They started well this season. But a draw at LAFC, if you remember. So I'm going to put Philadelphia first. Group B then, the group of 3 teams: Seattle, Vancouver, San Jose. You've got to pick 2 to go through. If it's, I doubt it will happen. I don't think it mathematically can, but technically all 3 of those teams could go through if the 3rd team has a good enough record. Yeah. But the top 2,
Seattle and San Jose.
Yeah.
Let's not waste time.
Yeah, okay. I'll agree with you. So, Group C: Toronto, New England Revolution, Montreal Impact, and DC United. I'm gonna stick my neck out here. I'm gonna say that New England will go through with Bruce Arena.
Really? But
Yeah.
who with?
I think there's a shout for all 3 of them because I think Montreal started well under Thierry Henry, but I think Toronto will.
I think that's a really difficult group.
It is.
Montreal have looked really good under Henry. The CONCACAF games as well, done well. Scored some good goals. That's a tough group to call. DC didn't look at it, by the way, in the game that I watched. So I'm hoping that they're going to come back a little bit more. But Toronto, for me, they're only just arriving as well. They've done a lot of training at home in Toronto, only just coming in, and there's a bit of momentum there, which I like. So I'm going to go Toronto and Montreal.
Oh, okay. Group D, I think this one's the toughest to call. Real Salt Lake, Sporting KC, Colorado, Minnesota. Go on, you first.
RSL and Minnesota.
I liked Sporting KC. Remember, Pulido was my signing of the season I predicted, so I think he'll do well. So I'm going to go with him. I'm going to go Colorado. They had a very good start, and I just like something's building at Colorado. We thought maybe last season it'd be building. It never did. I think this season it will. So I'm going to go SKC and Colorado.
Group E. Atlanta, Cincinnati, New York Red Bulls, Columbus Crew. Poor old Cincinnati.
Yeah. I can't. I can joke, but I can't go with Cincinnati going through. I obviously think Atlanta are going to go through. I think it's tough between the other 2, me. And I think I'm going to go Columbus.
Really? No, I'm going Red Bulls.
I don't know. I think Columbus, I think they've signed well. And going, if this tournament was straight after the start of the season, then I'd be more confident.
Yeah.
But I do think Columbus I think they've signed well. I think they'll do well. And finally, Group F: LAFC, LA Galaxy, Houston Dynamo, and Portland Timbers.
I think it's an all LA affair.
Just like the World Cup, I think a big team, and hopefully it's not Atlanta, but I think a really big team is going to have a bad tournament.
I agree, but it's so hard to.
Yeah.
You'd be stupid to go, oh, it'll be Atlanta. So I'm kind of just picking the obvious ones. I do agree, and there may be 1 or 2 shocks, but for me, both LA teams go through here.
I think the with Carlos Vela not there, I'm gonna be that guy. I'm gonna be that guy.
Oh,
I'm gonna say LA Galaxy and Portland will go through.
wow.
And just watch now LAFC to beat Atlanta in the knockout stages.
Yep, probably.
So there are predictions for what's happening. Tweet us at MLS UK Show. Comment on YouTube as well what your predictions are for the tournament. Remember, while you are on YouTube, give us a subscribe and click the notification bell. And that will, whenever we drop a new episode, you'll be the first to know. And subscribe on your podcast provider as well. It really just help us out. Give us a rating. But Elliot, there is one rule if you want to give us a rating.
5 stars only, LA Galaxy style.
So I guess, there's only one way to end the show, really. And that is to reveal the name of the player of the game with a changing name.
Yeah, they played for Newcastle United in 89 to 2000. Also, Manchester City, Leicester City, Bolton Wanderers moved to MLS in 2004 to play for New England Revolution, then went to Hartlepool United. Any ideas?
I do. I do remember this player signing for Bolton. I didn't know he played 3 games, but it was under Big Sam Allardyce. It was before we'd signed. I think it was as we were signing Okocha and Djorkaeff. Do you know you get those big players and then you get the players just to fill squad numbers? I didn't know he went to New England Revolution, though. Is it Steve Howie?
It is Steve
Yes.
Howie. Good work. Also got
Centre-back.
4 England caps.
Did he?
Yeah.
He didn't get them with Bolton.
No.
Not many do.
94 to 96, so he was at Newcastle.
Oh, well done if you got that right. And remember, if you have told us, we will be checking. We know if you have cheated and you've just gone back to the end and gone back to where you were. Just before we go, I want to say thank you to our sponsors, Lucid FC. They have supported us through lockdown and with the isolation interviews as well. They've got some great clothing line out at the moment. So
with masks as well.
if you want to have a check out some of their gear, some of their clothes, lucidfc.us is the website. And a shout out as well. Sadly, I don't think MLS are doing MLS Fantasy for MLS is back. I've been on the website and they've not updated it.
You can do a bracket. You can fill in a bracket, but I think that's it.
We had the best intentions with mystery football jerseys to do a fantasy tournament, a league, and whoever finishes top and whoever finishes second get prizes. Sadly, at the moment, that isn't going to happen. We'll hopefully bring it back if the regular season does. But shout out to them, mysteryjersey.com. If you pay a price, it's 25 quid, and they send you a mystery football box. Loads of our listeners are doing this sort of thing. And we getting tweets about people being sent just the most random shirts from football. So I think it's becoming
It seems to have become a thing in lockdown, definitely.
Yeah.
Like people have definitely been purchasing a lot of football shirts that they love, but I love the idea of getting a mystery one.
Yeah. So 25 quid, go on, mysteryjersey.com. It's great. It's brilliant. It's even been mentioned in 442 magazine as well. So it's really getting a lot of, a lot of support. It's been mentioned on the MLS UK show now as well.
Bigger deal, really, isn't it? So,
right, we'll be back next time. Hopefully there would have been some fixtures in MLS is back. Hopefully, but we don't know.
there's only one thing left to say. MLS is back. Get in!
See ya!